guys, welcome to 11th Study Group. Today we're going to be doing math problems that are super hard. So first, we're going to talk about graphs. Pretend that's a graph. The best graph. That's a graph, right? Okay, yeah, see? This is the graph. It's a graph. So, well, I'll draw a better graph. Okay, yeah, there you go. That's a graph. It's going to disappear in a bit, but that's okay. So if I were to draw a better graph, I would draw it like that. Okay, pretend this is an evenly distributed graph. It's not, but pretend it is because I don't have measurements to draw right now. Okay, so the middle part of this is called the mean. Use a text box. It's called the mean. Mean means that it's the average amount. If we're comparing somebody's height on this graph, the mean would be the height that most people would have. If 5 feet was like the most people had 5 feet as their height, that would be the mean right here. We're going to study some vocabulary words just like mean. Another vocabulary word is AUC, which is called area under the curve. The area under the curve is all the space. So if we go from here to here, all this area is the area under the curve. So after this, that's called the area under the curve for the percentage and area. So after that, there's something called SD, which is called the standard deviation. The standard deviation is how we move around on the graph. If this is one standard deviation, if your height was all the way over here, how many standard deviations would you be away from the mean? That's right, it's 2, because here's one standard deviation and here's another. But if the same was on the other side, it would not be 1 standard deviation, but it would be -1, and the same with -2. So pretend we have a problem. We are comparing everybody's height in the school. But comparing everybody's height at school. And to be specific, we're only comparing not all the people, but only 5th graders. So if I were to draw a diagram for that, it would be, where's that? Where's that? Boom, boom, boom. It would be like this. And if 6 feet is kind of tall for 5th graders, but if 6 feet was, most people were 6 feet, that would be our mean. And then if the standard deviation was 2, that's gonna be like if that's 6 feet, then if you're 4 feet, then you're -2 standard. That would be -2, but you're -2 standard deviations away from the mean. And if you're here and that was 3 standard deviations, and you were if each standard deviation, it matters of like how each standard deviation is. If each standard, on this case, if this is 6 feet, this is 4 feet, and it's -2 standard deviation. If this was -1 standard deviation, every standard deviation would be equal to 2 feet. So if this is 3 standard deviations and everything is equal to 2 feet, 1 standard deviation is equal to 2 feet, then we're doing 3 times 6. 3 times 2, sorry, which is 6. And then we put 6 feet here. So that now we're 3 standard deviations away from that. we have to add 6, and that's 12. So, and we're 2 standard deviations. If 3 standard deviations away from the mean, we're 12 feet. I'm pretty sure nobody in 5th grade would be 12 feet, but for the sake of explaining it to you, we're using 12 feet. And this is not it. There's something else. It's called a z-score. But we're not going to cover that on this video. We're going to cover something totally different. And you might be asking, well, why are we doing something totally different if we're in one video? Because what I want to do is to make 2 more videos, so then I can explain more on these. Do you know what this is called? Pretty sure you don't. This is called a scatter plot. A scatter plot. So it's going to be scatter plot. Scatter plot. And in the scatter plot, the points are all scattered around. That means there's no correlation there. Correlation means the pattern. No correlation. But if the dots were like this, that would be a positive correlation. A positive correlation means that as the x value gets bigger, so does the y value. And the negative correlation is when the x value gets bigger, the y value gets smaller. So if there's dots right here, then there will be dots right here, and there's one dot, like that, like that. So as the x gets bigger, the y is going to get smaller. That is called a negative correlation. So in our next video, we're going to be talking about means and graphs, and also scatter plots, positive correlations, and negative correlations. And just for you to look forward after those videos, we're going to be talking about equations for a line. And you'll know what that is and why we're doing it in the next video. Thank you, and bye.